Today we're going to be working on replacing the inner and outer tie rods on a 2003 Chevy Avalanche 1500 Z71. That's a 4x4. Parts we're going to need are going to be your tie rod ends, your inners and your outers. Went with Moog, that way I don't ever have to do this again. You're going to need a breaker bar. Got a 1/2 inch breaker bar. I think that's 24 inches long. Along with that, I believe, is an 18-inch socket. Gonna need a grease gun, a pair of pliers, a couple pair of pliers maybe. You're gonna need adjustable wrenches here. You're gonna need at least a 12-inch, and then a second one. It can be a 10-inch if necessary. You're gonna need your pickle fork or your tie rod separator, whatever you call it, and your mini sledge to go with that. Once you get those parts off there, you're going to need to clean out the inside, the old grease and everything, get that out of there. And then when you put on the new inner tie rod, you're going to need some thread lock on there. That usually comes in the kit with it. And then some gloves, because you might get some grease and dirt all over the place. Something to drink, your choice, whether it's your not your father's root beer, your Coca-Cola, go with what you like. And then your manual, just to keep yourself on track. Let's head on over there and see what we need to do. Alright, step one, set your e-brake. Put your blocks behind your tires so your truck don't go rolling away. Jack it up, put a jack stand under there along with it. Take your tire off so you can get in there, remove those lug nuts. Alright, now we got the wheel off. We're going to use our breaker bar with our 18mm socket. You're going to want the deep socket because you're going to have to go up under here and remove this one. So we've got it broke loose and we'll take it down. Some people say keep that on there while you use your pickle fork to separate it. I don't know. I did the other side and it didn't matter, but we'll leave it on there and test it out. So here we go. Alright, to use the pickle fork or tie rod tool, whatever, stick it right in here, just wedge it in there, and then you take the sledgehammer. It's a mini sledge. I got like a 5-pound mini sledge. 3-pound would probably work. Just take it and beat on the end, and that will, you gotta hit it several times, and that'll eventually wedge in there and separate it all out. And then you can remove that nut the rest of the way and then pop it on out. And there you go, it's now out of there and ready to go. It just comes right out, and when you pull it out, this is gonna turn a little bit out of your way, which is actually good because you need room. Next part is gonna be taking that 12-inch adjustable wrench, open it up, and I believe it's a 35mm if you have the open wrench. And way back in here, back behind this boot, is a nut, so you'll put it on there and loosen that off. It is on there with lock thread, so you're gonna have to put a little bit of force in there to get it to come off. So break that loose and the whole assembly will come out. If you're doing the inner and the outer at the same time, which is recommended, not by me because I'm not a mechanic, but by the mechanics and everywhere I've gone, so they recommend doing both at the same time. If you're doing one, might as well do the other. This nut locks the inner tie rod and the outer tie rod together into one assembly, so you want to make sure you don't mess with this and leave that put, because when you put the new one back in, you want to make sure you measure from here, the end, all the way up to that nut in here. When you put the new one together and put it in there, give you a preliminary alignment for when you take it up to actually get the alignment done at the shop. Alright, once you've gotten that out of there, you can see it's not there anymore. The tie rod end, it goes in right here. You'll pull that out, you'll unscrew it, but rest it's going to take a little bit of pressure to get that out of there because it is on the Loctite. So with that being said, you're going to have a little Loctite crud stuck inside there. So you're going to want to clean out that grease and Loctite excess crud buildup that it's in there. Get your little paper towel, rag, whatever, clean that all out and get it ready to go. Get the threads set up. Then the next step is to assemble your inner and outer tie rod that you bought. Again, I went with a Moog just because they're the best quality I could find, and lifetime warranty, and won't have to ever do it again. A little bit more expensive, but I'm told it's well worth it. So let's get that assembled and ready to go in. All right, we're back over here at the workbench just to show you kind of what came in the kit. The whole piece put together, that's the one we removed, the old one that needed replaced. There's new inner and outer tie rods right there. It shows what comes in the kit as well. So this one is going to come with a lock nut, which is this one right here. It's going to come with a cotter pin and a nut, which is going to go on there when you put it back on. It's also going to come with your nipple, your grease fitting there, which is going to go right in there. And I'll show you all that put together here in just a moment. This one comes with also the nut right here, so you end up with an extra nut if you're doing both at the same time, because those are the same nuts. So pick whichever one you want. You got an extra one. Extra parts are always good. And this is the Loctite I was referring to. This is the Loctite you're going to put down all across the threads on here to lock that in place so it doesn't come loose, come undone. So I'll get it all put together, show you what that looks like. Alright, it's all put together here. You can see we got it all set up. So put the nut on first, thread it all the way down, and then thread this one in. And the reason we take this all together in one piece together is so, I think I already mentioned though, when you get this, put this back together to set this nut and lock it in place, you want them to be the same length. So set them on top of each other, make sure that this is going to line up here with the back of this nut here. You want those to be the same length. Tighten that down. This is where I use adjustable wrench and a pair of pliers to snug that up a little bit. I also went ahead and put the nipple on here. If you can see that very well, that's the nipple, the grease fitting. And that took one of these nice little teeny tiny 7 millimeter little wrenches there to put that on there. So next step is we're going to go ahead and head back over to the truck, put some Loctite on the threads, and screw that in there, get it set nice and snug in place. Your instruction manual will tell you the exact specifications, pounds, to get that tightened down to. And then next step is dropping that in place and putting that in there and putting the cotter pin in place, and I'll show you that in just a second. Alright, back over the truck, and I don't know if you can see, but on those threads, it's not showing up real well, but we got Loctite on there, so I'm going to go ahead and put it back in, right back in here, get that screwed back in, and that will end up lining up right here, and drop that back in, put the pin back in, we'll fill it with grease and lock it in, be good. So here we go. Alright, we got it done, and it got dark on me again. I'm really bad at this. I don't know how to turn on the light, but this is the tie rod here. You can see going all the way down. And this is just up here is just where we tighten it down. We already talked about that, Loctite and all that. Coming in and reattaching back to our assembly here. Just got your nipple, your grease fitting on top. And underneath here is where you have your nut that you tighten down. And then you stick your cotter pin in there, keep that nut from undoing. That's all there is to it. And again, this is just preliminary to get you started so you can get it over to a shop to get your alignment done. I think they're around 60 bucks, 70 bucks, somewhere in there. So you want to make sure you get that done before you start actually driving it. So just drive straight to your shop and get your alignment done. So from here, put your wheel back on, tighten it down, lower your truck, you're good to go, get that alignment. Hope this helped you. Like, subscribe, whatever it is you're supposed to do on these things. Thumbs up. Leave a comment. I'll try to get responded to you. Thanks for watching. Have a good evening.